Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. Darren Waller's arrival in Miami has sparked excitement among Dolphins fans, and it's not just because of his potential on the field, it's also because of what he's already seeing off the field, particularly in quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. The veteran tight end who's played with his fair share of quarterbacks during his time in the NFL was recently caught on the sidelines during a Dolphins practice, chatting with former Dolphins tackle Terron Armstead. What came from that conversation was a surprisingly candid and glowing assessment of Tagovailoa's game. Despite never having taken a live snap with him, Waller is already sold on Tua's special skill set. The words weren't forced. They weren't part of a media soundbite. And they weren't said under the pressure of a press conference. They were natural, authentic, and spoken casually on the sideline to someone who spent years protecting quarterbacks just like Tua. And that's exactly what makes them so powerful. They came straight from the heart. Let's be clear, Darren, Waller has had a unique and winding NFL journey. After entering the league with the Baltimore Ravens, he truly found his rhythm during his years with the Oakland and Las Vegas Raiders. It was during that stint he developed chemistry with Derek Carr, a quarterback known for his deep ball accuracy and calm under pressure. Waller and Carr had undeniable success together, and Carr was often praised for his connection with his top targets, particularly tight ends. That's what makes Waller's words even more striking. When asked about quarterback play during his time on the sidelines with Armstead, Waller didn't hesitate to say that Derek Carr had been the best passer he had ever worked with. But then he paused, shifted tone, and said, "Tua's different." That's not something you say lightly after sharing a field with someone like Carr. It's a powerful statement from someone who knows what elite quarterbacking looks like up close. Armstead, who remains deeply connected with the Dolphins organization, relayed Waller's comments on his show, The Set with T. Armstead. He emphasized how sincere and detailed Waller was in his praise for Tagovailoa. According to Armstead, Waller was struck by Tua's anticipation, his ability to read defenses, and perhaps most importantly, the way he places the ball. Waller reportedly described Tua's passes as very catchable, a compliment. That may sound simple on the surface, but carries massive weight in the world of elite football. A tight end like Waller thrives when a quarterback can deliver the ball in stride with perfect placement in the tightest windows. When Waller says he sees something different in Tua, it's because he's looking through the lens of someone who knows what it takes to dominate at the highest level. He's not guessing, he's not hoping, he's seeing it right now with his own eyes. Waller's excitement doesn't come without context. He hasn't even practiced with Tua yet. He's still recovering, still working to get his legs back under him, as Armstead put it. The Dolphins are wisely being cautious, giving their new tight end time to acclimate and return to full strength before tossing him into the mix. But that hasn't stopped Waller from dreaming big. In fact, the absence of live reps makes his words even more intriguing. If he's this impressed just from watching practice, from seeing Tua throw in drills, read defenses in real time, and deliver pinpoint passes to his receivers, imagine what his reaction might be once he's on the receiving end of those throws. There's a genuine sense of anticipation, of eagerness coming from Waller. He's not just another veteran joining a new team. He feels like someone who truly believes he's walking into something special. Of course, Tagovailoa's career so far has been a roller coaster. Injuries have constantly haunted him since entering the league. Concussions, rib injuries, and other nagging ailments have forced him to the sidelines far too often, and that inconsistency has clouded some people's judgments of his ability. But when he's healthy, there's no denying his talent. In the one season where he played all 17 games, Tua lit up the league, throwing for over 4,600 yards, making the Pro Bowl, and showing everyone what he's capable of when given the chance. To lead an offense from start to finish, that version of Tua is what Waller is seeing now. It's what Armstead described, and it's what Dolphins fans are hoping returns this season. When Tua is on, he's one of the most efficient and precise quarterbacks in football, a trait that perfectly complements a receiver like Waller, and let's talk about that precision. Miami Herald reporter Omar Kelly recently highlighted what makes Tua's practices stand out. He said that Tua's game has reached a new level of consistency, a daily dominance that goes beyond just talent. There are no wasted throws, no checkdowns that feel like cop-outs, no sloppy mechanics. It's just smooth, efficient, decisive quarterbacking every single day. That kind of steady excellence might be easy to overlook in today's era of highlight reel quarterbacks, but it's the very foundation of success in the NFL. Tua doesn't need to scramble for 40 yards or throw bombs off his back foot. What he's doing is more important: controlling the offense, dissecting defenses, and delivering the ball with surgical accuracy. That's what Waller is saying, and that's why he's so intrigued by what this offense can become. For the Dolphins, this upcoming season feels like a tipping point. After a disappointing finish in 2024 that saw them miss the playoffs, there's an undeniable sense of urgency building in Miami. The roster is stacked with talent, from speedster receivers like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle to an improving defense, and now a versatile tight end in Waller. But the engine that drives it all is Tua. If he can stay healthy, if he can continue playing with the consistency and sharpness he's shown in practice, this team is going to be a serious problem for the rest of the league. There's no more room for excuses. The pieces are in place. The coaching staff is experienced, and the quarterback is finally entering the season with full health and confidence. And it's not just about wins and losses, it's about legacy. Tua Tagovailoa has always had doubters. From the moment he was drafted, questions surrounded his arm strength, his durability, his leadership. But over time, he's quietly answered each of those concerns with performance and poise. He's grown into the role of franchise quarterback, not by shouting or demanding the spotlight, but by letting his play speak for itself. And now, with someone like Darren Waller publicly expressing his excitement about catching passes from him, that respect is beginning to spread. Veteran players don't hand out compliments like that easily. Waller has nothing to gain by hyping up his quarterback unless he truly believes it, and from everything we've heard, it's clear he does. So where does this leave the Dolphins? In a word, hopeful. There's a genuine buzz surrounding his team that hasn't been felt in years. The mix of veteran leadership, young star power, and growing chemistry is creating something potentially special in South Florida. Darren Waller's presence is already being felt, not just as a player, but as a voice. Someone who's been around the league and knows elite talent when he sees it. And what he sees in Tua Tagovailoa has him genuinely excited. The connection between them hasn't even been tested yet, but already it feels like something worth watching. If Waller's instincts are right, and they usually are, this could be the start of something big for both of them. In the end, football is about trust. Quarterbacks have to trust their receivers. Tight ends have to trust their quarterbacks. And teams have to trust their leaders. Darren Waller may be new to the Dolphins, but his belief in Tua Tagovailoa is already crystal clear. That trust is the foundation for everything that's about to happen in Miami. The road ahead won't be easy. The AFC is loaded with talent, and every game will be a test. But for the first time in a long time, the Dolphins don't just have hope, they have belief, and it starts under center with a quarterback who's ready to prove he's not just different, he's elite. Waller sees it. Armstead sees it. The fans are beginning to feel it. Now all that's left is for Tua to show the world what he's capable of. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? More explosive than a lightning bolt on a clear Miami afternoon, the rumors swirling around the Dolphins' latest acquisition are igniting a firestorm of speculation across the NFL landscape. According to multiple unnamed sources close to this franchise, the Dolphins have quietly closed a deal to bring in one of the most electrifying defensive talents seen in recent years, GRIFFIN, a name that instantly commands respect. Whispers from within the Dolphins' inner circle suggest that this isn't just another off-season move. It's a seismic shift in defensive strategy. GRIFFIN's arrival, faster than most imagined and quieter than expected, hints at a strategic masterstroke by the Miami front office. This isn't just about plugging a hole in the defense. This is about turning the entire tide of the AFC East. If even a fraction of the buzz around GRIFFIN's athleticism, speed, and ferocity is true, the Dolphins might have just pulled off the steal of the decade. Insiders are already drawing comparisons to legendary defensive disruptors of the past, suggesting that GRIFFIN's potential ceiling could rival or even surpass some of the game's greats. Imagine a player with the raw explosiveness of Von Miller, the tenacity of Troy Polamalu, and the instincts of Ray Lewis. That's the level of hype simmering beneath this unexpected signing. Though official details remain locked behind closed doors, a few well-placed leaks indicate that the Dolphins have been monitoring Griffin for months, waiting for the perfect window to swoop in. That window reportedly opened after a surprise disagreement between Griffin and his former team's front office, prompting a quiet but urgent flurry of calls from Miami's top brass. This wasn't just about talent, it was about timing, precision, and strategy. If this gamble pays off, the Dolphins might have just transformed their defense from solid to terrifying. What's intriguing isn't just Griffin's physical profile. Although, make no mistake, that's impressive enough, but his football IQ and hunger to prove doubters wrong. Standing out in a league full of athletic freaks isn't easy, but Griffin's blend of explosiveness off the edge and calculated decision-making has already turned heads during off-season workouts. Word is, even Dolphins veterans have been caught, murmuring about the rookie's speed and motor. One unnamed linebacker reportedly said during minicamp, "This kid doesn't just fly, he teleports." It's the kind of statement that feels exaggerated until you see Griffin move. The coaching staff is believed to be building entire defensive packages around him, envisioning him as both a pass-rushing nightmare and a coverage wildcard. His versatility could allow the Dolphins to mask schemes, disguise blitzes, and keep quarterbacks guessing every single down. In a division that includes Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers, that kind of unpredictability could prove invaluable. There's an undeniable swagger beginning to form in the Dolphins' locker room, a sense that something big is brewing. And Griffin might be the spark. Rumors suggest he's already begun to form a strong connection with defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver, with both men sharing a vision of chaos and speed. The idea is to create a defense that doesn't just stop opponents, it overwhelms them. With Griffin reportedly clocking in at a 4.3-second 40-yard dash during a private workout, it's easy to see why Miami sees him as a potential game changer. Add in his explosive first step, relentless pursuit, and ability to shed blocks like paper, and you start to understand why insiders are buzzing. It's not just fans getting hyped either. Players across the league are reportedly watching tape of Griffin to get ahead of the curve, knowing full well he could be the league's next nightmare off the edge. One of the more intriguing aspects of this move is the veil of secrecy surrounding it. While major media outlets have only recently picked up the scent, those close to the Dolphins suggest this deal was in motion for weeks, perhaps longer. Griffin's camp had kept tight-lipped, and the Dolphins front office played their cards close to the vest. It's a classic Miami maneuver, striking with the element of surprise, much like they did in past high-profile acquisitions. What makes this one different, though, is the long-term vision reportedly attached to it. Sources suggest the Dolphins aren't just thinking about the 2025 season, they're building toward a defensive dynasty. And Griffin, still early in his career, could be the face of that vision. With the NFL constantly evolving and offensive innovation at an all-time high, teams are desperate for defenders who can flip the script. Griffin might just be that disruptive force. Even more fascinating is how this signing could shift the Dolphins' overall team identity. For years, Miami has flirted with contention, boasting explosive offensive pieces but lacking that one defensive presence who commands double teams, shifts game plans, and forces offensive coordinators to lose sleep. With Griffin in the fold, that dynamic may finally be changing. Rumor has it that Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel has already restructured portions of training camp to center around defensive drills featuring Griffin. That's no small move, it's a statement of intent. McDaniel, known more for his offensive genius, might be preparing to unleash a defense-first Dolphins squad, one that suffocates opponents and lets the offense feast on short fills. If true, this would mark a philosophical evolution for Miami and could completely alter how other teams prepare to face them this season. There's also chatter about how Griffin's arrival could elevate the players around him. Cornerback Jalen Ramsey, currently rehabbing and expected to return in top form, reportedly reached out to Griffin directly, welcoming him with a "Let's Make History" text. That's not just a teammate, that's a future Hall of Famer co-signing the hype. Pass rushers like Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips are rumored to be thrilled about the additional pressure Griffin's presence could alleviate. With opposing offensive lines forced to account for him, others could find themselves facing more one-on-one opportunities. A dangerous prospect for quarterbacks across the AFC. Add in a hungry linebacker core and a secondary that thrives on mistakes, and you have the recipe for a defense that doesn't just play. It dictates. Suddenly, Miami isn't just a warm weather destination. It's a war zone for visiting offenses. Yet, for all the buzz and projections, questions remain. Can Griffin handle the pressure of instant stardom in a media-heavy market like Miami? Will the expectations weigh heavy or fuel his fire? Those close to him say he's built for this, forged through adversity, laser-focused, and eerily calm under pressure. Coaches have reportedly praised his film study habits, his early arrival at the facility, and his willingness to take on vocal leadership despite being new to the locker room. He doesn't talk much, but when he does, everyone listens. One assistant coach reportedly said, "It's still early, and preseason hasn't even started, but the whispers are growing louder." If Griffin stays healthy and buys fully into the system, the Dolphins might have just uncovered a cornerstone, not just of their defense, but of their franchise for years to come. Financial details are still under wraps, but insiders speculate. The deal is both team-friendly and laced with performance incentives, a smart move by Miami's front office. This gives Griffin every motivation to prove himself and gives the Dolphins flexibility moving forward. More than that, it sends a message. This team is done playing it safe. They're swinging for the fences, betting big on upside, and daring the rest of the league to keep up. It's a bold strategy, but it fits the new Dolphins identity. Fast, fearless, and unapologetically aggressive. If Griffin lives up to even half the hype, this move could become a defining moment for the franchise. The kind of acquisition that people point back to and say, that's when everything changed. And for a fan base hungry for relevance and respect, that kind of shift is priceless. Only time will tell if Griffin can truly become the defensive juggernaut so many believe he can be. But right now, in the sweltering heat of a Miami summer, the excitement is real. Whispers are turning into roars, expectations are skyrocketing, and hope is surging through the veins of every Dolphin supporter in a league built on parity where fortunes rise and fall with every snap. This kind of buzz is rare and precious. Whether Griffin becomes a Pro Bowl fixture, a locker room leader, or the spark behind the Super Bowl run, one thing's certain: his arrival has already changed the conversation in Miami. And if the rumors are right, if the whispers hold even a hint of truth, then Dolphins fans might just be witnessing the beginning of something special. Something fast, fierce, and unforgettable. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.